So the next question is for both of you guys. So maybe we'll start with Nicole. So how do seasonal changes impact landscaping choices for home sellers?
Oh, seasonal is so much fun, isn't it?
Oh, that's great.
You decorate outside for certain seasons. Thanksgiving love seeing the pumpkins and the corn
Good fun.
stalks and stuff like that, and the mums, especially. There's so much you can do for that season.
And they're cheap and cheerful too.
And I find if somebody's paying attention to do the little things like that, they're more likely paying attention to the bigger things in the house as well. Right?
So it's much more likely that the major problems have all been headed off at the pass because they have the wherewithal to think, oh, it's time to decorate for the season. That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, and I think logically too, when you think of efficiency, so you're planting shade trees, makes your house cooler in the summer.
It does.
And there's probably the other way around where, you're going to provide more warmth with certain types of trees and such.
Yeah, a windbreak is great. If you want to slow down a cold, nasty winter wind, a row of spruce trees is an excellent way to do that.
So how would you decorate in the winter seasons, especially this past winter with all that snow?
So you buy tickets to somewhere warm, get on the plane, and don't come back for like 3 weeks. That's what I did twice. I had a very good winter. Well, I worked too much in the summer, so it was like this winter I was like, screw it, I am out of here.
God.
So,
do you know what was hilarious? I found really funny. Sorry,
that's okay.
Interrupt you, but I found
this is your podcast. This is not mine. You're the boss. You do whatever you want.
I found it so funny on our street, you're like 6-foot snowbanks trying to get out of your driveway and not lose a rear end or hit a neighbor.
Exactly.
Sorry, neighbors, for all the ones I almost hit. But anyway, when the snow started to go away, I'm noticing all these really cool reindeer and stuff that I never noticed before because it snowed so much and so fast. I'm like, oh my God, are those ever nice? I never noticed that. Well, here it is, it's getting warmer and it's nice out and all these places are delightfully decorated for the holidays, for Christmas.
Mother Nature was off her meds this winter. It was just nuts. We were away for Christmas and New Year's, and I'd like check the weather forecast, and I'd be like, ha ha ha, suckers.
Until you came home.
Until I came home, and then I was like, I'm one of the suckers now. This is no good. So the one thing, if you're going to do some seasonal changes, containers are the easiest way to do that because you can literally yank the insert out of them and put in something new. So say for spring, do pansies, other early stuff that'll handle the cold and still give you nice bright color. And pansies are cheap as dirt. Like you can buy a whole flat of them. I think you get 12 boxes for like $30, and that's enough to do probably 2 containers and some stuff in the flower bed. They'll be bright, they'll be cheerful, they'll look fresh, which is nice, and then they'll hopefully catch somebody's eye. Yank those out 1st of June, put in some summer stuff. If you're doing it in the fall, mums, absolutely. Or even just if you want really no maintenance, just stack pumpkins up on your steps. I have a client who, she's very artsy and she's wonderful, and she will do like the most artisanal, ancient, crazy pumpkins. I'll be like, I know you buy some from us, but like, where do you get and then, it turns out she paints them. I'm like, no wonder I want a blue pumpkin. Chalk paint your pumpkins. You want a certain color? Let's do it.
Yes, I've seen colorful ones like that.
Well, hers are one year they were all like grays and blues and pinks, and we grow some pumpkins that are pink and some that are kind of grayish blue. But I was like, damn, this is amazing.
That.
But she doesn't have to do anything. You just chuck them in the compost when you're done with it, and you be like toodles. And then for Christmas, the one thing I would say is some people, when they like a Christmas display, they want it to be like Santa himself is here, and it is like sparkly and bright and red and in your face, which is great. I totally do that. And then the only issue is on like December 27th, it looks dated. So you need to either be able to tone it down by taking out some of the super fun Christmas stuff, or start with something a little bit more natural that has more legs and it'll last right through until like whenever you want to throw them out.
Snowmen. I like snowmen.
Snowmen are fine. They're more classic. But I've seen stuff where it's like freaking elf legs and the Grinch, and it's like, okay, yes, cool, love it. But if you're going to have it out until Easter, then maybe...
Not so good.
No, my place right now is I have Christmas greens everywhere, and I
But everybody does right now, I think, because they couldn't get to it.
No, well, I can
get rid
get
of
to
it.
it now, and I just looked at it and went, "Oh, I look at that tomorrow," and then the next day, "Oh, tomorrow." It's like never happens. It does eventually, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes. So that's just my advice: go cheap, stick with containers because then they're easy to change, and then when you do have something Christmas, don't make it like, it's all good. You can have as much Christmas as you want. Just if
Get
you're
rid of it on the 27th.
well, not necessarily the 27th. Just be able to dial it back a little bit if you want it to be a little more winter and less Christmas.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just fine. I don't judge. Really, I've turkeys wandering around my driveway this morning. How am I to judge? I cannot judge anything because everybody else is probably like, does he not own a fence? Like, what's wrong with this? So, anyways, it's good fun.
Free range.
Yeah, they are very free range. They were across the road at the neighbors once about 5 years ago.
Uh-oh.
That was very free range. It was not fun.
No.
So, anyways, I survived. So did they.
Oh, it's funny. Jeff, actually, you may have already touched on this. Just the landscaping trends. What are they?
So there's a few
Currently.
things that never change. Number one, most people don't like their neighbors a whole lot, which is fine. I don't blame them. So a lot of landscaping is for privacy or to like just make things, if not, like you don't want to be hitting your neighbors over the head with, I really don't like you. Here's a 6-foot fence. So they're like, we'll put in a hedge and it'll accidentally over time grow to be 8 feet tall. And I don't know how that happened because that poor nice man at Davis Hill, who's so dumb, he sold us these things that were only supposed to be 3 feet tall and now they're 8 feet tall and I can't see your hot tub or your neighbor's kids, kiddie pool or all of that kind of stuff. So privacy is one. Everybody likes some privacy.
Yeah.
People want stuff that's long, like lots of long season of interest. So instead of just planting like something green, they'll plant something with burgundy leaves or gold leaves or a variegated leaf like green and white or gold and white. So if you don't have flowers, at least you'll always have foliage color. So that works really good. People are big on mulch because it keeps your soil moisture in, it keeps weeds from sprouting, and it always, like you can get some, like our chocolate brown mulch is dark brown. So it makes all of your color pops right out. So it gives you better, more bang for your buck. So, and then a lot of times people will they'll look for something like a no-mow option on a hill. So say you're in a house that's got a really steep yard. Well, you don't own a goat and you don't want to cut the grass. We'll come up with something to put on that for you. But most of the time it's for privacy and they want some color that's all season. So that's usually it. So,
Okay.
but some trends are like during the pandemic, everybody and their brother wanted a freaking apple tree because they thought the grocery store was going to run out of apples tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. Well, and I would be like, and they'd be like, so when do I get apples? And I'm like, in 2 to 3 years. And they're like,
Not right away.
what do you mean? And I'm like, no. So like they'll buy like 3 or 4 apple trees. And apples are great. They're beautiful, but they're also, deer think they're delicious in the winter and rabbits like to eat them too. And you have to prune them. And so some people, that was a trend I'm kind of glad has passed because people in town who don't have a lot of space would be like, I need 3 apples, a pear, a sour cherry, a sweet cherry, and a plum. And I'm like, how big is your space? And they would like basically draw the size of like the shop. And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, wait a second. You're new. You've never done this before. You start with 2 and see how it goes. So that was a fun trend. So anyways, oh well, that's how she goes.
Yeah.
That was a crazy time. Hopefully never again.
Oh my. Yeah, I hope not. Okay, Jeff, is there any specific plant or trees or a certain style that works really well in the Hanover-Walkerton area?
Absolutely. So because we get ridiculous amounts of snow, there's some stuff that you should always keep in mind. So if you like hydrangeas, which most people do, I have a couple customers who kill them, and I look at them over my glasses with this condescending look like, do you have children or pets, and how do they stay alive? Because if you manage to kill a hydrangea, you've done something really bad. So the variety Annabelle, she's an old girl. She's been around forever, but she can have snow dumped on her like 5 feet deep, smashed right down to the ground. You cut her off to just 2 inches high and we'll be back up 3 feet tall, blooming beautifully the following summer.
And what was that called?
An Annabelle hydrangea. So
Oh,
if you have, so you've got like an east side of the house, the snow swirls over and just dumps right there, or you get ice or that kind of stuff, plant an Annabelle. you can smack her around until you are blue in the face and she will come back loving it. So that's a really good choice. And another one, if you ever plant sedum, they're tough little perennials.
Yes.
You literally water them once and walk away. You wave while you walk past for the rest of their lives, and they're impossible to kill. They die to the ground every year. I know people who have dug them up with their snow blowers when they're cleaning their sidewalks, and they're like, oh shit, that's laid on the lawn for the last 3 weeks under a snowbank. Plant it again, it will be fine. So if you do,
Wow.
and then ornamental grasses are another good choice too. So say you've got, I have this terrible story, but during the pandemic, I had a customer whose neighbors bought a hot tub. There was activity in the hot tub that they weren't particularly fond of. And I was like, oh my, whatever shall we do? Like, what do you do in a situation like that? I guess you don't confront them. So anyways, we decided they should put in a row of ornamental grasses. So I said to them, the first year, they're not going to get full size. They don't grow that quick, but we'll put in some annual ones that will give you some height. So the grasses gave them privacy, but it also, when the wind blows, the leaves rustle a little bit and it drowns out the background noise, which happened to be next door. So ornamental grasses are another good choice because they're very hardy. They're drought tolerant once you've got them established, and you can dump snow on them forever. You can put salt on them. Like say you have them close to your driveway, throw the road salt on, doesn't hurt them. Cut them down in the spring, up they come, and they give you a little bit of ambiance, I guess you could say. So it drowns out the noise. You won't hear your neighbor's dog barking, or if the kids are having a whatever, or domestic disputes happening down the street, you will not know about it. So you'll have plausible deniability. I guess that's a good thing too.
I always I call it a living fence.
Yeah, for sure.
I always like that better because it is a little more friendly.
Yeah, it's subtle.
It's subtle and
They don't know you don't like
it's
them.
attractive.
Yes. Because you can get
Attractive looking.
some grasses with beautiful variegation on them. So you can have like green with yellow bands or white stripes on them, all that kind of stuff. So it gives you some color and some interest, and usually nice plumes in the fall. And if you really don't like your neighbors, you can get them 8 and 9 feet tall. The only drawback is you do have to cut them down in the spring. So it's a bit of work, but
Do they come back quickly then when you do cut them down?
once the summer gets going, you can get like an inch a day if it's hot weather. Yeah, water and feed them really well, and yeah, you can push them along quite a fair bit.
Wow,
So,
okay.
yeah.